So recently there's a huge outcry of discussion in regards to Islam and feminism, especially in ML Studio. This discussion triggers me because there's someone in the comment, or there's basically a lot of people that believes that Prophet Muhammad SAW was actually the first feminist and believe that Islam is actually a feminist religion. This is entirely untrue. I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense to say that there is an Islamic version of feminism. So firstly, Islam and women is a very controversial topic because it's easy for you to cherry pick certain conditions of women in certain Islamic countries and say, hey, that's Islam. People can go to South Sudan and see how South Sudan governs women and say that's Islam. You can go to Saudi Arabia and say how that is Islam. So Islamic interpretation and understanding of Islam to women varies based on different types of countries. But there are general consensus within the scripture and within the sunnah that we can understand that there is a different treatment between male and female. So first of all, I want to say that Allah does view women and men equally based on their taqwa. How you fear God or spiritually is equally. But in terms of inheritance, in terms on how you practice Islam, and in terms of social standings, there are multitude of difference between men and women, and it's definitely not equality. Look at inheritance, male is more favored than women. You can look at marriage and divorce. The rights that men has is definitely more than women. And look at the practicing. So men doesn't have to wear headscarf to cover their hair, and women has to cover their hair. Is this equality? No. But in Islam, this is how men and women are treated. It's differently. Secondly, how does feminism view women? So the idea of feminism is a very complicated one. So let me be specific. There are 4 to 3 waves of feminism, depends on which one you believe is the contemporary one. And each wave of feminism fights for different things. And from these 4 waves or 3 waves of feminism, there are branches of other feminisms. So you can say there are liberal feminists, there are moderate feminists, there are eco-feminists, there are cyber feminists. The main goal of feminism is equality between men and women. You want to have same access to education, equal pay, even though some believe that that's a myth, and anything that is male and female, and they believe in certain social construct that it favors male, they want to destroy that. They want to break that barrier and put on equal level playing field. So we understand that when it comes to Islam, it's totally not the same. It's okay if you're a Muslim feminist. It makes sense. That means you're a practicing Muslim where you believe in Islam, but at the same time you have feminist ideology within you. But it's a problem to say that Islamic feminism exists. Why? Because you're essentially looking at the scripture in the lens of feminism. It basically means that you are a feminist, and then when you read the Quran, you interpreted it in the way that feminists would see it. And this is problematic. It's against the spirit of religion. It's against the spirit of Islam for you to look and interpret it the way that you want. You're basically taking the liberty of some other external ideology and insert it into the Quran or the Sunnah, which is totally wrong and you should not do it. And then there are some part of audience or some people believe that, okay, look, Prophet Muhammad SAW fights for women rights, therefore he is a feminist. Just because Prophet Muhammad loves women or has certain value that empowers women doesn't mean it's feminism. It just means that it's Islamic. It's Islamic to uphold women. Like your mother, you should prioritize your mother more than your father, for example. So you don't say that's feminism because it's not even equality to begin with, but you say that it's Islamic. And it doesn't make sense because if you take that logic that Prophet Muhammad did this to women, therefore it's feminism because it favors women or equality, then you can put it into any ideology. You look at any religion, there's peaceful elements towards it. And then you can just take that value, oh look, there's actually Islamic Christianity, or there's actually Islamic Judaism, because apparently they share common similarities, and you put those 2 ideologies together. Just because there's similarities doesn't mean that it's equivalent to one another. Empowering women can also be Islamic, and it doesn't mean entirely feminism per se. However, just because that you are Muslim doesn't mean that you can't be a feminist at the same time. You can be a Muslim and feminist at the same time, but you cannot have an Islamic scripture and say that it is feminism. It's Islamic.